Hi ho! I got Fuller's London Pride here, which I've had many times over the years. Sort of remember the first time I ever had it when they used to send the 500 milliliter bottles to America, and I could get them for I feel like less than $1. It was like $1.69 or something. I haven't seen those in a while. So this is kind of the classic British Pale Ale. They don't call it a bitter. They don't call it an ESB. It's 4.7. A lot of times if you call something a bitter, it's closer to 4, and if it's an ESB, it's over 5. I don't know. They're all variations of British Pale Ales. So yeah, this is 4.7%, and it just uses regular beer ingredients, malted barley, hops, and on their website they actually say that it uses some chocolate malt. But I'm sure it's primarily pale and then crystal malt. Crystal malt is kind of one of the defining characteristics of British pale ales. And crystal malt's also the thing that's been disappearing from American pale ales and IPAs. So you can see it's got a very pale amber color there. And it's very clear, but they're tiny, tiny particulates. They used a bunch of different British hops. I guess British hops were also the defining characteristic. Used Challenger, Northdown, Target, and Goldings. Goldings is the classic one. They're a variety. The most popular variety is the one from East Kent Goldings. They just say Goldings. They're all kind of very similar. And I think this is a very fresh bottle because the best by date is October 1st of this year. So that's almost 10 months away, so hopefully it's nice and fresh. And yeah, there's these slightly under 12 ounce bottles. You can't really pour them super hard and get lots of head, but there's some on there, and it's not bottle conditioned. It's not nitro or anything. It'd be cool if it was bottle conditioned. I wish I could have this on cask, but cask in America is rare, and it's really heavy on the crystal malt, and the chocolate malt's probably helping too to bring out lots of sweetness. It smells very cherry like. It's not like some other British pale ales I like more, or at least I like more because they have less malt character and more hop character. Like Timothy Taylor Landlord, I wish that would be shipped over here. I feel like that hasn't been shipped here since pre-pandemic. Constant Bluebird Bitter, that one is a little lower alcohol. Now it's bottle conditioned and it's paler also, but this one's kind of going for a sweeter thing. Yeah, it's like cherry fruitcake. Yeah, that hint of chocolate malt kind of makes sense to me. There's just a little bit of a cocoa-y kind of toasty thing, but mostly fruitcakey with some sort of a citrus zestiness from the hops maybe. A little bit herbal. It smells quite fresh. Yeah. It's nice for when it's super cold, because if I want something that's pale ale, I almost never want something that's this malty and sweet and dark. But it's been below freezing for days now, and I'm enjoying this. I also didn't let it get fully to fridge temperature, so this is probably in the 40s, and it kind of works. It's got some body for 4.7. It's not super dry, and it's bitter. Yeah, this must be a really fresh bottle. The other numbers written here are 2251, and I'm not sure what those numbers mean. Sometimes I can decode them, but not sure about that. Even though it's like bitter and sweet, that's kind of the idea. It's still pretty drinkable. Maybe there is some American brewers making beers like this, but they're probably brewers that are under the radar, not very sexy. And unfortunately, so many of the brewers that still make a lot of the old British styles, they're kind of bad brewers. They don't do great at it. Because if you want a successful brewery, you're not going to get be able to make a lot of money off of a traditional British pale ale. Excuse me. I don't remember if they listed the exact IBUs. They just had like a 3-dot system, 3 dots out of 5 for bitterness. But this is more bitter than a lot of American IPA, I would say. Yeah, it's just nice to have something quite different. It doesn't have as much of a wicker chair thing that I get from a lot of British pale ales and bitters. But I think it's because of all the crystal and chocolate malt in there. It's really making it sweet and fruity and slightly caramelized, slightly toffee. Just all the sweet, darker notes and darker fruit notes are kind of coming out more, rather than brighter fruits. There is this element of citrus zest, and they don't really say anything on the label here. And they're owned by Asahi, brewed by Asahi at Griffin Brewery, Chiswick Lane, South London. At least it's still in London. I mean, I doubt that Asahi bought this to change it. But I want us to get some more British pale ales. There's like, I guess Old Speckled Hen technically is, but that's another one that's kind of sweet like this. Boddington's, the Nitro bitter cans are garbage. Coniston is good. Ridgeway is good, but we mostly just get their Elf series. The lower alcohol Elf one, Bad Elf or something, is really good. It's a little bit like this. It's malty, but it's really hoppy. It's 4.5%. I think bottle conditioned. This is just sort of your standard middle of the road. It's sort of like the Sierra Nevada, maybe of British pale ales, and just not exactly what I always want. Same with Sierra Nevada. I like that when it's a little bit colder. They're both kind of an amberish color. Sierra Nevada's paler, and they both have lots of crystal malt. This one's very malt forward though. It's almost like a hoppy amber. That's what like some American brewers might call it. Lots of flavor, and it's building up with a sort of hop oily. It's not quite dank. It's resinous, but it's not exactly piney. But you can definitely see how American pale ales and IPAs are descendants from this. And it's cool to have this very fresh. I don't know if I've had it this fresh before. There might even be like a vanilla cherry note to it. It is definitely a beer you can sit on and sip and think about, even though it's kind of sessionable too. That, I guess, the idea, except that you're supposed to get a big cask pour, 20-ounce cask pour of this. But super clean, really well made beer. Everyone should probably try it. And I guess it's in a way it's world class, just not always to my taste, but it's very good and it deserves 4.5. Bye.